Hi there, I'm Rebecca and a really warm welcome back to my channel, PumpkinBecki. In this week's video, we're going to be clearing out the greenhouse and moving the dahlias and the bonsai out into their normal positions. Let's get started. So I really needed to clean out the greenhouse, move everybody out, all the dahlias, all the bonsai, so that I can actually get to my carnivorous plants and I can start sowing some seeds. But first I need to give it a darn good clear out, sort out all the pots, sweep the floor because it is a mess. I've been trying to function around all this stuff since the beginning of the year, really. So the first job is to move all those dahlias out. They're in such big pots. I did repot everything. Some of the disappointing ones I moved into slightly smaller pots. I combined some tubers together so that I had white pompon dahlias sort of in 3 containers, and I managed to get them into 2. They're nice, but they're not my favourite. So the majority of them have actually all been out of their soil. Had to check through for things like vine weevil, I didn't find any. And they've got some extra new compost in with them, and I will give them a little top dressing of manure which I have bought. And then I'll give them a jolly good water. I didn't water them for a few days because I wanted to be able to lift them. Now I'm putting them under the pergola. That's where I grow them through spring, summer and autumn. Basically once the frosts have finished and before they begin again. The beauty of that is, if it does look like there's going to be some frost at night, and sometimes we do have a late frost, I can literally drape a piece of fleece across the pergola and that will protect all those young plants. I did notice a little bit of slug damage in the greenhouse to a couple of the dahlias, so I'm going to have to keep my eyes open. Those lovely fresh shoots coming up are too tempting. And here comes my little tour of bonsai. So these bonsai have overwintered in the greenhouse, essentially because my garden is really windy, and there's just been too many times where I've had precious bonsai knocked off their shelving in high winds, and I've lost branches, and it's awful. No, I can't be doing with it. I did have somebody ask me why on earth I did it. That's why. It's not just about snow and frost. It's actually mainly about wind. The conditions do get a bit precarious this time of year because we can have some really hot days, and that can burn a fresh green leaf quicker than you can look at it, as I discovered. trees are all now in full leaf and they've hardened off those leaves, so it's time to start feeding. I'm going to be using BioGold, which is a pellet form of bonsai feed. Now, I did read an article that said that really BioGold is meant for the conditions you get in Japan. It's what the Japanese growers use for their bonsai. And because our conditions are not the same, some of the nutrients are not as readily available to the trees as they would be if you were growing in Japan. And I think a lot of that is to do with water and the availability of water. And somebody suggested, I wish I could remember where I saw it, I think it was somebody pretty prominent, said that what you can do is actually put some of these into a water bottle, into an empty bottle, and fill it up with water, put the lid on and leave it to sit, and eventually they will dissolve and you can use that as a liquid feed. And certainly sort of first thing in the spring, that's a really quick way to get nutrients into the trees. I could try that. I've got lots of empty plastic bottles that I use to save rainwater in for the carnivorous plants, and I'm sure I could give one of those up to the bonsai. But for now, today, I will be putting pellets on my trees and giving them a jolly good water. There are two trees that I will not be feeding. Ilex crenata is one of them. She has buds, but they're not pushed out and they haven't hardened off yet, so she's got to wait. And the other one is my little tiny beech. Again, it has buds, they are pushing, but they're not out yet. This is, or more likely was, my pistachio tree. I think I've lost it. And I also think I have lost my mulberry as well. So I really didn't have a good winter this year. I also lost some of the trees from my beech forest over winter, so I've had to replant some of those. And then in a very unceremonious washing bowl is this yew tree, which I actually dug up from my father's house just before he moved out and into his nursing home. So this is my primrose yew tree. And it's breaking buds. It's got a really interesting trunk and is really starting to thicken up. It's put on lots of adventitious buds up the trunk as well, which is fabulous. And yeah, one day I'll be brave enough to do something with it. Right, that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to rate, share and subscribe to me here on YouTube. And until next time, bye!